I've done fusions before, and DNA evolutions for Pokemon, but this day I bring you the complete opposite. I'm gonna get a Pokemon and split them right down the middle to create something else. Abominations before your very eyes. I had a lot of fun with this video, so make sure to watch till the end to see all of your faves horrifically split apart. Again, randomize these, but I got a good selection. Let's start with Latios. For these, I've tried to figure out the key parts of the Pokemon and sort of inspirations for them to share between the defuse Pokemon. So, for example, Latios here, which is more of a ubiquitous design, I love that word. I decided to go with the concept of one half being a more bird-like design and the other half being more draconic. And luckily enough, Latios is already split in two different colors. They kind of look like they're living inside the blue with the grays, so it worked quite well for splitting it in two. For the first half of Latios, I went with the blue parts, and it kind of dawned on me what it reminded me of. I've never really done a hummingbird mon before, and it was kind of a cool idea. Shake up the idea of this jet plane sort of Pokemon, and now it sort of hovers along with these jerky movements up in the atmosphere. I wanted something cute and recognizably Latios, and surprisingly that made it look a bit like some sort of pre-evolution for them, which isn't a bad thing. I don't know, I see this thing almost being like a Cosmog style legendary that would stick with you for most of the game, being a little goober till it evolves and I guess saves you and you unlock the whole region flying mechanic that we got in Omega Ruby Alpha Sapphire. Humios, the Echoing Sky Pokemon, a Psychic and Flying type. Humios soars high above the clouds, emitting a low, humming frequency that can only be detected by sensitive instruments. Humios uses its psychic powers to predict wind patterns and glide silently for hours without flapping its wings. Ancient texts describe Humios as a guardian spirit of high altitudes, guiding lost flying types back to their flocks. Researchers believe its triangular chest markings helps it communicate with others of its kind through pulses of psychic energy. Humios has the ability Serene Grace and Speed Boost. So all that's left of our poor Latios is this grey part here, and this is where the Dragon type comes into play. I'm gonna kind of jump on my current trend of kaiju monsters and create a bipedal kaiju-like design for this one. I like to think of it as Humios took all the fluttering ability, but this one can still kind of fly, just in a different form. A key part I had for this one was this sort of idea of having both Latios and Latios feeling very much kind of almost magnetic-like to each other. They need to be with each other, so I went with a bit of a magnetic idea for Latigon here. No electric type, but it has a pole of magnets on their body, like the toy magnets you'd have as a kid. I guess somewhere out there the game would have like a Latigan or something with red parts on his body instead, and is part of the nest mentioned in the Dex entry. Funnily enough, this isn't the only kaiju-like dragon type in the video, so keep an eye out for that one. Latigon, the Direction Pokemon, a pure dragon type. Latigon possesses a remarkable internal compass, allowing them to navigate with pinpoint accuracy. Specialized organs on their stomach and tail constantly detect the planet's magnetic field, enabling them to locate their nests from anywhere in the world. Its magnetic abilities not only grant it the power of flight, but also let it hover effortlessly above the ground. Latigon are often seen zipping through the skies in graceful arcs, their bodies shimmering, which leads some to think of it as a meteorite. Latigon has the abilities Marvel Scale and Levitate. Next one that was a fun challenge was Inteleon. Being a pure water type and having a pretty solid design already made it tough to diffuse, but I decided for one I was going to focus more on just a straight water lizard with no real secondary attributes, and kind of take all the spy James Bond aspects and make it into a different design that was also a lizard. This one turns out kind of strange for both of them, to be honest. Our first design here is what I like to call my if Inteleon didn't add in spy traits design. I instead go towards a basilisk lizard. Funny that my Ostara region also had a Cyclizar that had the same creature type. Here, Dashalisk uses a very similar head crest and shape, but bulks out the body a bit more, losing a bit of the human-like aspect Inteleon has, which I'm sure many people are happy about. But here we are mainly focusing on the feet, which I'm sure also many are happy about. Instead of smaller hook-like feet, Dashulisk has big broad feetsies made for quickly and goofily running across the water surface. You can kind of see it lacks more of the, dare I say, sentience and is much more animalistic, even going so far as to lose the long arms and hands in favour of some more lizard-like arms. Dashulisk, the water walker Pokemon, a pure water type. Dashulisks have unusually large feet and a distinctive rapid gait, designed to help them run across the surface of water. Their lightweight bodies and quick reflexes make them natural skimmers, darting over ponds and rivers with effortless grace. Highly skittish by nature, Dashulisks prefer to avoid direct confrontation, instead lashing out with its long tongue to slap and daze opponents before making a quick escape. Despite their nervous disposition, Dashulisks are admired for their agility and speed. Trainers who manage to befriend a Dashulisk often find them to be loyal but easily startled companions, requiring a gentle touch and plenty of patience. Dashulisk has the ability Swift Swim. Oops, looks like I spilled all this human traits onto my lizard, oh no. So yeah, the idea here is to lean even further into a gadget-using James Bond-esque lizard. All the traits we didn't use for Dashulisk get included here. Now, I do think maybe it was a mistake to also make it a lizard. I'm definitely not denying that for sure, but I think it was integral to the idea here of giving it much bigger sort of gliding membranes and grappling hook tail, all packaged into one suave-looking lizard, and I'm only noticing just now, but holy moly, does this just remind me of Gex the Gecko. I loved Gex. I mean, I don't know how it would hold up today, but it was a great platformer, and young me just loved hearing Gex say references that were totally outdated even for that time. And them just going straight over my head anyway. So go on, Camoleon, let's hear some James Bond references no one under the age of 35 would get. Camoleon, the agent Pokemon, a pure water type. Camoleon can bend light around its body to become nearly invisible, slipping past enemies and slipping into high security areas undetected. Its skin contains specialized cells that shift in real time, making it nearly impossible to spot once it vanishes from view. Using the membrane between its limbs and tail, Camoleon can glide silently from rooftops and cliffs, striking with precision before disappearing once more. Cool-headed and cunning, it never wastes a move. Every action is part of a larger plan, executed with style and efficiency. Camoleon have the abilities Infiltrator and Wind Rider. Next up we have Titan, one of my new faves from Paldea. Pokemon just keeps getting better, huh? With this Titanic whale, we can grab two different parts of it. Land and sea whale and, well, ball of ice and blubber, I guess? I really like the diffusions I did here, so let's begin with the sea part of the design. With these, I really thought from the aspect of what if they weren't full whales at all with both of these, but the fusion turned out to be. As if Titan wasn't real, but these two were. So Cetawall here is still, I guess, sort of a whale, or wall, but I guess it's a narwhal. The obsession of early internet goers.
Narwhals swimming in the ocean, causing a commotion, 'cause they are so awesome.
I thought because Titan was a spiky queen, making it so that Cetawall's main thing here was the massive narwhal horn, but also giving it traits and attributes with that of Titan, like the pattern's face and tail, and honestly, this could almost work as a pre-evolution if we didn't have the adorable Cetotl. Cetawall, the Glitterhorn Pokemon, an ice and fairy type. Cetawall playfully glides through frozen seas, using its horn to carve delicate patterns into the ice. In the moonlight, these designs shimmer with an otherworldly glow that matches their horns. Though gentle by nature, Cetawall fiercely protects its pod with dazzling displays of horn swordsmanship. Sailors often mistake its form for a floating Rapidash and follow it, believing it will bring them great fortune. Cetawall have the abilities Thick Fat and Ice Body. Okay, so this next one was a weird one. All I had left over from Cetawall really was just round, so I went a little crazy with it. I decided to make this sort of ubiquitous snow monster. It looks very much like Cetotl, save for the goofy cute face that it has, but it also needed to represent the whole bipedal landwalker part of Titan. So I decided that along with the round body, that Snow Titan here would be constantly covered in snow. Sort of in such a way where it was mistaken for a snowman. the body of Snow Titan would ball itself up and sort of look like the bottom section of the snowman. Then when it rolls around or just casually strolling about, it'd look like the snowman has come to life like those Christmas movies when you put a hat on a snowman. I think I did a pretty good job of stitching all the leftover parts of Snow Titan to make this little guy. Snow Titan, the snow golem Pokemon, a pure ice type. Snow Titan, a peculiar Pokemon said to be born from snow itself. They have a natural affinity for gathering snow and layering it over their bodies, often stacking it high in playful rounded shapes. Children sometimes mistake Snow Titan for ordinary snowmen and happily decorate them without realizing. When startled, Snow Titan curls into a ball and rolls away at surprising speed. To onlookers, it appears as if a snowman is suddenly springing to life and dashing off, a magical and unforgettable sight for any kid. Snow Titan have the abilities Oblivious and Snow Cloak. Hope you aren't sick of ice types yet, because the final design of the video is Baxcalibur, a Pokemon that has grown on me lately. This one was rather easy to split into design ideas, with one being a very large, scary dragon kaiju Gen 1 sort of design, with a hint of danger and spikiness to it, and the other part of it taking the giant sword just jutting out of its back in the ice place to make something pretty cool. Alright, let's start with the Barbzilla. Fun fact about this one, I actually got the idea to make part of the design just from the bar part of Baxcalibur, and it kind of turned into Barb, which worked thanks to Baxcalibur's general spikiness already. So I went into the general body plan of Baxcalibur as if global warming hit him and all the ice melted off, even keeping the mouth shape and eyes the same, but leaning further into it being just a pure dragon type, really. Just, fall into those Gen 1 simpler designs, till I fill it with barbs all over. All I can see with this one is it doing something like Gurren Lagann and using Pin Missile, launching all the spikes from its body like rockets. Would have to be a dragon type move. You could call it Barb Barrage or something. Damn it, Overquill, you took everything from me. Everything! Barbzilla, the barbed Pokemon, a pure dragon type. Barbzilla's body is lined with countless jagged spikes, each one as tough as steel. These brutal barbs grow naturally and are constantly shed and regrown, leaving trails of shattered spikes in its wake. Even approaching a resting Barbzilla is dangerous, as the slightest movement can send its spines flaring outward. Known for its wild temperament and overwhelming power, it prefers to charge head-on, relying on its hardened spikes to tear through terrain and opponents alike. In ancient times, entire mountain paths were abandoned after a single Barbzilla made its territory there. Barbzilla has the ability Iron Barbs. And finally, we get just a big old hunk of ice and I guess an icy-like sword. And I present you today Excalibur. Now the first thing is that yes, this is a very Aegislash-coded Pokemon. Could even go so far as to say that this would be a conversion of Aegislash. But instead of it freely floating and holding a shield, the icy plates from Baxcalibur make a frozen gauntlet that holds Excalibur up. I guess all the heavy ice means it can't stay up without help. I wanted to keep the sword generally the same, but make the hilt look a bit like Baxcalibur's mouth, and even give it a fashionable mustache like the tip of Baxcalibur's hands. I guess in this situation it would be Baxcalibur taking Excalibur's parts. Is it just me, or would a battle between Aegislash and Excalibur go so hard? Now, I'm pretty sure Aegislash would still win though. Excalibur, the Tomb Guard Pokemon, a steel and ice type. The origin of Excalibur is unknown, but they are often seen stalking tombs in colder climates. The air around them freezes as they float silently through the grounds they protect. A leading theory suggests that Excalibur was once a much larger Pokemon, and that the icy gauntlet is all that remains of its original form. According to this belief, the Pokemon spirit took control of its mighty sword in death, merging with it to become Excalibur. Excalibur have the abilities Clear Body and Sharpness. Alright, what did you think of the video? Comment below your thoughts and tell me what Pokemon you think would be good for a defusion, because I may just do them in another defusion video down the line. Make sure to share the video around as well as chuck a like, as it helps a lot. Thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next video. Same vague time and same place.
Are you alright?
Bane's non's having a strong call of bondulance.